The Fantastic Four First Steps is now in theaters, and I've seen it twice, so let's talk about it. But before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on push notifications, but let's get into today's review. It's been a decade since the last Fantastic Four movie, and we know that Four Stick was a piece of garbage. But before that monstrosity, we had two other Fantastic Four movies from the early 2000s that are pretty entertaining. A lot of people hate on them. I feel like the hate for those movies are pretty forced, but I like those movies. I think that they're fun. But then, for the most part, we really haven't gotten many Fantastic Four stories to be told in movies. There was one in the 90s that actually never got made, which they actually make cameos in this movie, which is pretty fun, but we've never had like a Fantastic Four movie. Until this one. The Fantastic Four First Steps is fantastic. It is so fun. I loved this movie. I think that it is one of the best MCU films that we've gotten in recent years, and it's my favorite superhero movie of the year. Yes, I put it over Superman. That might be my most controversial opinion of the year, but I just had such a good time with this movie. There's one thing that I would have changed, but for the most part, everything about this movie is just so entertaining, so pretty to watch, and just a great time. Michael Giacchino's score is always going to be something that's truly magnificent, and it's been a while since we've gotten an MCU film that's had, an actual fantastic score, and he just absolutely killed it with the Fantastic Four theme, and with Silver Surfer's theme, with Galactus' theme. The music in this movie is phenomenal. The cinematography is beautiful, one of the most beautifully shot MCU films that we've seen so far. The CGI is great. I love the design of Thing. I think they did a fantastic job. I'm going to be saying fantastic a lot in this video if you couldn't tell already. But yeah, the design of Thing and Ebon Moss-Backrack is just so good as Ben Grimm. He does a fantastic job. Every character in this movie is so good. Joseph Quinn does a fantastic job playing Johnny Storm. Vanessa Kirby does a great job playing Sue Storm. Pedro Pascal does a great job playing Reed Richards. And this is coming from a person that didn't necessarily like the casting a whole lot when it was first announced. But now that I've seen the movie, they did such a good job. They cared about the characters so much. They really embodied each character. It was so awesome to see. Another great thing, though, is that this actually feels like a superhero movie. Within like the first 10 minutes, it just feels like an authentic superhero team-up movie. We get a lot of team-up movies like The Avengers or like recently Thunderbolts, but this is like a team. This is what Marvel's first family. I think that's how they're marketing it, even though there's Guardians of the Galaxy, but this is like Marvel's first family, and it was so great. It really felt like a superhero movie. I love the retro futuristic 60s vibe that they had going on. I think that's so awesome. I loved how the story took place in its own universe, so that it really is separated from the timeline of the MCU, but then they will be connected to, the universe that we have come to know very well. And it'll be very cool to see when they, show up in later movies, because obviously, they're not just going to be in this one movie. They'll show up in later movies. I won't say which ones, but, they're going to show up in later movies. The script is great. I think the chemistry between each and every character is so satisfying to watch. There's some really beautiful writing. I mean, there's beautiful writing about motherhood. There's beautiful writing about family. It's a very heartwarming movie. And it felt so good to finally have another great MCU film. It has been so long, like excluding Guardians 3 and potentially Spider-Man No Way Home, it's been a long time since we've gotten a great original first outing movie, because Guardians 3 was the third movie in the trilogy. Spider-Man No Way Home was the third movie in the trilogy. This is the first movie of hopefully a future trilogy, but it's so good. It's so good, and it's so refreshing to just finally be able to say that I really loved an MCU movie. It feels so good to say that. Getting into a couple things that I wish were a little bit different, not to get into too many spoilers. I'm going to try my hardest to not spoil anything, but if you're afraid of any sort of spoilers, I would definitely check away from the video now, but I'm just going to talk about one little thing real quick. But as all Marvel movies go, you're always going to have a final battle scene, and there's a final battle scene in this movie. I won't get into any details of what what goes on in the battle. But there's one thing I wish would have been different. That is that, one, I wish it would have been a tad bit longer, and two, I wish we would have been able to see more of our superheroes' powers. I think that's one thing that I was very much missing from this movie, was being able to really truly see each and every person's power. Johnny Storm really had time to shine, really got to show off his, flame on, and obviously Ben Grimm thing, we got to see him in his full persona for the entire movie, which was awesome. But I think it would have been great to see more of Reed Richards in the original 05 and 07 Fantastic Four movies. We really got to see Reed Richards do a lot with his stretchability, but we don't really get to see a ton of that in this movie, which is something that I feel like I was missing, but definitely not something that pulled me away from the movie too much. If there wasn't a good story, a good script, I feel like it definitely would have been more of an issue. But since there was a great script, since there was a really interesting story, it's something that I can look past. But it definitely would have been something that would have made this movie that much better if we'd have just gotten a little bit more of that. And there is like one instance in the movie that it's good CGI. Like, it's not bad CGI, but it's very recognizable CGI. I won't get into what it is, but I think you'll know when you go see this movie that there is just there's one scene where the CGI is just so recognizable. It's good, but it's so do you know what I mean? Like, it's good CGI. You can tell that it's good CGI, but it's so recognizable where it's distracting. And that's another thing that in the both times that I've seen this movie, I was just like, ooh, like I really noticed that is CGI, and it really pulled me from the movie for just a couple seconds. But other than that, this movie is fantastic. This movie is great. I couldn't be happier. The trailers made this movie look great. I love movies that really, take a step or take a leap of faith when it comes to the story and kind of just like throwing and seeing what sticks. But with this movie, they just did such a fantastic job just being their authentic self. I think the MCU is like back on track of becoming, what the MCU used to be. The MCU used to be just, we would get a movie that, may connect to a previous one, but wasn't the main focus. And I think that's what made those movies so good, because it felt like we were just we were watching a new MCU movie. When we're watching new MCU projects or new MCU movies, for the most part, it feels like we have homework. It feels like we have to watch other stuff to watch this movie to really understand everything. Or it's just, I don't know, just way too many connections that just make it really hard to enjoy the movie for what it is. But this movie is great. Thunderbolts is great. Thunderbolts, I think the reason the Thunderbolts didn't perform as well in the box office is because the characters in that movie were all from like Disney Plus shows for the most part, which a lot of people didn't watch the Disney Plus shows. But this movie, new characters, new actors, new faces, new world, new just vibe. It's so good. It's so good. I can't wait to rewatch this movie for a third time. It's so good. And I am so happy to be able to praise an MCU movie like this, because it used to be so fun liking MCU movies. It used to be fun looking forward to MCU movies. And fortunately, because of this movie, I am now looking forward to the future of the MCU. And I haven't looked forward to the future of the MCU for like, I don't know, 6 years? It's been like a long time. Or actually, no, probably 8 years, because that was before, Endgame is when I was really looking forward to every single Marvel movie. We are in the beginning stages of something fantastic. When Endgame came out, we were literally in the endgame as far as quality of movies, and I think now we are in a very good state of they're really going to be prioritizing quality over quantity, which, I couldn't be more excited for. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on push notifications. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I appreciate every single one of you, but remember, your movie moment is right around the corner. See you in the next video.